decisions? How can I make sure I run my profits? How can I ensure I exit and enter trades at optimal times?
Okay, so in other words, you're looking for the holy grail, the magic bullet, the special pill. It's an impossible dream. Now, when I meet traders who we would call perfectionists or near perfectionists, they're often struggling, or they're in a position in their trading where they're struggling because they're trying to get out of tops, they're trying to get long at bottoms. It doesn't happen. Trading is not a game of perfect. That's not a phrase I made up, that's the title of a book called Golf is Not a Game of Perfect, which a lot of traders used to read a number of years ago. If you are looking for perfection in your trading, forget it. One of the very big awarenesses for me in my career was almost when I learnt to embrace losing and learnt to love my losses and learnt to say it's acceptable to lose money. Because, as we said earlier, we don't know what's happening in the next second earlier on. You know, and once I got my head around that, I was able to buy the high of the day, which was a great thing for me because the high of the day could be nowhere near the high of the day by the end of the day. A lot of traders struggle to buy when the market's at the high or sell at the low. But of course, as the Gartman rule says, buy high, sell higher. That's one of the Gartman rules. I say to people, you know, try and be optimum. Try and be optimal. Try and get a level where you're happy to accept a profit that relates to your losses, that's got some sort of relationship. Work on that. Don't absolutely try and get out. And I've worked with a number of people recently, younger traders, who have suffered some big losses because they just ran and ran and ran, and they just couldn't see any problem running it, and then it turned round, and they ran and ran and ran the other way down, and just saw their entire profit disappear.
How can I ensure I have sufficient risk on when I'm on the right trade?
We're talking about questions here where there is no magic answer. You have to be what I would call optimal, not perfectionist. It's almost a process of calibration. As you spend more and more time doing the job, and as you continue to be successful, you should be calibrating your process the whole time. What is working, what's not working. I encourage traders to use a journal because that is a great calibration tool, as long as you use it properly. So go back and look at what you've done in the past. Set yourself targets for improving certain behaviours. So you might want to set yourself a target for how can I have more capital on board when I'm trading? How can I improve my exits? And set yourself growth targets for that. And look back and see how you're doing compared to how you are today, where you want to be tomorrow. The great traders, it's almost like they calibrate themselves and they learn the whole time. But there is no absolute perfect answer.
And what about backing your own ideas more effectively?
Yeah, that is, if we go back to what I discussed earlier on, that trader who had great ideas but he wasn't monetising his ideas effectively, that's the same point. You've got to find what it is you do well and where your weaknesses are. And we almost come back to the journal I just mentioned. You need some sort of tool that helps you know more about yourself. The great traders I work with, they've got this incredible self-awareness. It's almost, as I say, they've almost removed from their ego. And the greatest trader I can work with of all, I met him a couple of years ago. I was out in Hong Kong working for a bank there, and this guy walked in. He was the most unassuming guy you could ever meet. You just never thought he was a trader. And we sat down and we started talking, and I thought, I'm probably in the company here of the greatest trader that I've ever known. And it did turn out, as I got to know him, he was an astonishing trader. But you would never have known it. He was the complete reverse of the stereotypical trader you'd think. Incredibly humble, incredibly self-aware. He was able to stand back and almost divorce himself from his trading and also from his ego. And that's something that I say to all people, set yourself that sort of goal. And the people, again, who I say are successful over the time, a lot of them are like that. Not all of them, but a lot of them.